Journey to Lemora, Chapter 2, Left Behind. I heard Lisa and Amber come home through the door later that evening. Dad came in to check on me, but I still didn't feel like talking, so he left to show his new family around the house. I laid on top of my bed listening to my phone. London Calling by The Clash was buzzing through my headphones. A glint of something shiny in the box I stole from the hallway caught my eye. I pushed loose papers and worn journals aside to find a glittering silver chain. At the end of the chain was a long, ornate key with a purple gemstone in the center. It was beautiful, with silver filigree and strange symbols etched along the sides. The purple gemstone almost glowed, even without light. I was surprised with how often I'd stayed in my mom's office that I'd never seen it before. What did it go to? It was too large to fit in a journal lock or a jewelry box. It could have been a very old door key, but it looked too polished and new. Perhaps this trinket was from a Renaissance fair or a costume? Questions kept racing through my mind as I pulled the chain over my head and round my neck. I turned to the journals, hoping to find some answers to this mysterious key. While I had read Mom's published books many times, Dad had always warned me against reading her journals. Your mother had a wonderfully creative mind, and I will always love her for that, but she was broken inside. In the end, she was very sick. I don't want her delusions to ruin your memory of her, he would tell me. Just how bad could it be? He didn't stop me from taking this box today, but then he was also very distracted with the move. I opened the thickest of them, which had a hard leather-bound cover, and I choked on the layer of dust that billowed out. Inside the cover was a map, drawn in immaculate detail. It read across the top in large scripted letters, Lemora. The continent appeared to be separated into 6 kingdoms. The northernmost kingdom was covered in snow-capped mountains and was labeled Rishmar Mountains. The central kingdom was Aloria, which had many more buildings than any other kingdom. The southernmost kingdom was Magmaros, which was distinguishable by a large blackened volcano. To the west there was a forest called Feywood, and in the ocean there were islands called Sylph Atoll. The last kingdom was Naucadia, which was in the middle of the ocean. That couldn't be right. Perhaps I read it wrong. There was a section with ruined translations, with pronunciations of strange words and their definitions. A couple of them looked strangely familiar. I flipped through the middle and saw a bestiary of sorts. Drawings and diagrams of creatures clearly not of this world. There were tigerish beasts with huge eagle wings, mermaids wielding staves, wolves made of fire, and what appeared to be trees shaped like people. Or was it people shaped like trees? The thing that stood out the most was a garish picture of someone being strangled by their own twisted shadow. The caption read, "The Consumption Stage." The look of agony upon the man's face sent chills down my spine. I flipped to the end of the journal and noticed several of the last pages were torn out. I was so absorbed by studying the journal, I hadn't noticed Dad calling me to dinner. He knocked at the door, and I nearly jumped out of my skin. Hastily, I threw the journal back into the box and hid it under my bed. My curiosity was piqued, and I didn't want to chance Dad taking them away. Dad spoke through the closed door. "Catty, I know this has been hard for you. It's not easy seeing her things put away, but we deserve to move forward. She wouldn't want to see you this way. If you could, please come to have dinner with us. It would mean a lot to me." I opened the door, and Dad gave me a hug. "I'm sorry," I whispered, my voice muffled by the hug. "No harm done." Dad patted me on the back, and we walked to the kitchen together. Lisa and Amber were already at the table, which was covered in takeout Chinese boxes. The aroma of sweet and sour chicken and egg rolls made my stomach rumble. I had been so upset I didn't realize how hungry I was. I leaned forward to fill my plate, but stopped when I noticed no one else had food yet. Lisa held hands with Dad and Amber and blessed the meal, a custom I wasn't used to. I awkwardly took their hands too. "Thank you, Lord, for this wonderful food, this lovely home, and for our new family. May we have many more days like this to come. Amen." "Let's dig in," Lisa said with a laugh. As I proceeded to stuff my face with noodles, I realized Amber's private school must have been a religious one. So, Catty, is your name short for something, like Katrina or Catherine? I haven't heard that name before, Lisa asked sweetly. Nope, my mom was Catherine. I'm just Catty, I mumbled with a mouthful of food, which earned me a glare from Dad. I hope you're not some crazy cat lady. I'm allergic, Amber joked, making my dad laugh louder than necessary. I just smiled to hide my irritation. The rest of the meal was filled with more small talk, and when I helped clear the table, I noticed Amber was texting on her phone. Who are you texting? I asked. That guy Nick from school. He's been texting me ever since I got home, Amber sighed. He's kind of cute for a fat guy. Nick isn't fat, I snapped. Okay, chubby. My last boyfriend had abs, Amber yawned lazily. So why talk to him if you don't even like him? Because it's fun. Jealous much? Lighten up, Amber smirked. I bet I know who does like him. I looked away from her, frowning. I didn't know what was more frustrating, the fact that Nick was texting her, or that she didn't even care. I decided to busy myself with my fortune cookie. The note inside read, "You will soon go on a journey of both mind and soul." Anything to get me out of here, I thought, as I tossed the note in the trash. I fiddled with the mysterious key around my neck, but I didn't have a chance to read any more of the journal that night. The next day wasn't much better. Amber came with me on the bus, and the whole way to school she complained about public schools. It's just so gross, Amber whined, after finding some gum under the bus seat. You haven't seen the bathrooms yet, have you? I smirked, and put on my headphones to block out her response. I brought the journal with me to read and found a shady tree to sit under at lunch. The first entry read, I can see Lemora so vividly in my dreams. I can almost feel the blades of grass in my bare feet and taste the salt in the wind by the sea. It is a place of wonder and enchantment, and you can sense the magic in every breath, magic that is so absent in our world. I feel so at peace here, like this has always been home. The people here are amazingly gifted, and each have unique magical aspects about them. Some could even be described as, Meatball! Someone shouted, causing me to jump and lose my place. It was Sean. He kept looking at me with this wide, toothy grin, and it didn't take me long to realize I was the butt of a joke. Sup, Meatball? I heard you into hitting old ladies, Sean jested. Meatball. It was so obvious. Amber shared her version of the story with Sean, and if Sean heard it, then the whole school did too. There was no helping it now. Yep, you caught me. Better watch out, Sean, I snarked placidly. Nice try. I'm not an old lady, he grinned, crossing his arms over his chest. You sure? You could have fooled me. Do you mind? I'm trying to read, I retorted, pulling the journal closer to my face. Sean then did something I wasn't anticipating. He snatched the book and held it high over his head. He was much taller than me, being on the basketball team. Give it back, I yelled, jumping childishly around him in a sad attempt to knock it out of his hands. Or what? You'll hit me with a meatball? So salty, he laughed, and I heard the cover tear slightly. You're ripping it! I shrieked. Nick walked quickly behind Sean and took the book easily away from him and muttered, Come on, man, knock it off. Sorry, bro, Sean laughed and walked away. Thanks, I murmured. I felt the heat rise to my face as Nick handed me my journal. Sorry about him. He can be a real jerk sometimes. Is that your diary or something? Nick asked casually. Oh, no. Actually, it was my mother's. She was a writer, and she liked to keep her notes in journals. I bit my lip anxiously. That's cool. What does she write about? Mostly fantasy and mythologies of other cultures. Sometimes she writes her own thoughts and daily events. Well, she used to anyway, I replied. Used to? She passed away 10 years ago. I still remember her a little. I'm sorry, that must have been hard, he reassured me, looking straight into my eyes. Why am I sharing this with him? I don't usually talk to anyone about Mom except for Dad. Nick sat down next to me under the shady tree. It's okay. I still have her stories. I hugged the journal and felt the cold, hard lump of the key from under my shirt. Oh, and I have this. Whatever it is. I held up the purple gemmed key for him to see. He examined it in his palm and touched the gem with his fingertips. Whoa, what does this go to? He asked curiously. I don't really know. It doesn't fit anything at our house. Jinkies, sounds like a mystery, he teased, stroking his chin and cocking his eyebrows inquisitively. We both laughed. This was nice, spending time with Nick at lunch. Before we knew it, the bell was ringing. I felt so light my heart was practically skipping. We walked through the hall and waved as we went our separate ways. The rest of school flew by, and I didn't think anything could wreck my mood until I saw Amber waiting for our bus. Remembering my new nickname, I had half a mind to tell her off. Thanks a lot, I snapped through gritted teeth, so even a fool could pick up on the sarcasm. For what? I'm not a mind reader, Catty. Amber rolled her eyes. Meatball? Sean harassed me about it earlier. You know I didn't throw it. Why did you tell Sean of all people? I argued haughtily. OMG, that's hilarious. But I didn't tell him, she laughed. Then who did you tell? Nick.
Hello, my name is Ella and welcome to my channel. Here I'll be sharing with you my stories, artwork, animations. If you enjoy my content, please support me by clicking the like button, subscribing, sharing, or ringing the bell for notifications. Links to my website and social media are below. I will be releasing content in sequential order, so please check for new chapters each week.